Recruiting is tough, not just because of volume, but because scaling quality evaluation is a massive challenge. Recruiters are usually the gatekeepers to talent, responsible for identifying, screening, and presenting top candidates to your internal teams. Now, your success hinges on the quality of the talent pipeline you build and how efficiently you can move candidates from initial screening to accepting an offer. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, there's a persistent problem that has always been a very persistent challenge in recruiting. You face an overwhelming number of candidates and not enough time to properly parse and assess their skills. So, how can you conduct high quality interviews at scale while keeping up with your organization's hiring demand? The answer lies in Agentic AI. Let's welcome Rahul Veerwal, founder and CEO of GETWORK, to give more insights as to how Agentic AI is changing the entire landscape of recruitment. Hi, Rahul, how are you doing?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm really doing really well. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you with us on a podcast today, Rahul. And I mean, we have been talking about agentic AI in our previous episodes, but of course, this seems to be an interesting one as to how it is changing the recruitment landscape. Because I believe recruitment and hiring have been like not on a proactive stance of adopting AI. I think they have been doing it pretty late, I feel. But now since you are here, we'll definitely gain more real world insights as to how the entire scenario is. So before we get started, dive deep into our topic, we would like to know more about GETWORK. So if you could help our listeners understand what exactly GETWORK is into, what is its specialization, it would be great.
Great. So, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I am very happy that you invited me for the agentic AI discussion. And this is definitely the need of the hour that HR also moves along it. So. I am Rahul. I'm the founder and CEO of GETWORK. So, GETWORK is an agentic AI HR tech platform which eases the process of hiring right from the sourcing to the onboarding. So basically, for any company, whenever they look out for the recruitment, there are 5 steps that are involved. So first one is sourcing, screening, interview coordination, then background checks, and then onboarding. GETWORK is your one-stop platform with an agentic AI capability to do almost all of the whole procedure, right from the sourcing to the onboarding. We are not just another technology tool or not just another agentic AI platform, but we are essentially an ecosystem for any company to depend on us. And when I say ecosystem, we started GETWORK back in 2019 with the primary reason that we wanted to bridge the gap between the fresh graduates and the early talent that is joining the workforce with the companies that are looking for the same. So we have a very extensive community. We have a very extensive supply chain where we are getting the talent from over 1500 plus colleges, universities, talent agencies all across the country. We do have more than 4 million active candidates on the platform who are looking for the job. So when we say that we are providing you a agentic solution, it's not just a technology that we are providing, but rather we are providing the exact same recipe as you used to had with the consultings holding your hand when you just give them the JD and they are arranging everything else. That is what you can do with our digital recruiters, the one that we have sweetly named Anjali. So Anjali is the digital recruiter that you get. It takes care of right from the sourcing to the onboarding part of it. So that's what GETWORK is for you.
Great, that's pretty insightful and very fascinating, I must say. And I'm really happy to learn about a GETWORK, which is more like a one-stop platform with agentic AI capabilities to do the entire end-to-end process of hiring from screening to onboarding. And what really stands out to me is how specialization today isn't just about doing one thing well. It's about constantly adapting that specialization to meet the new challenges and opportunities. And I think GETWORK is really out there and creating a very distinct space, especially in a very a dynamic landscape. I would say that is the HR. Having said that, Rahul, if we have learned about the organization, we would also like to know more about you. You're passionate about democratizing the hiring process in India, and you really believe that every candidate, irrespective of their educational background and location, deserves a chance to reach their true potential. That's a very deep thought, Rahul. So, we would like to know more about you. How has the journey been till date? And what is your role and contribution towards the company? Or, what triggered your interest at GetWork?
Basically, GetWork was just an idea, and I got this idea right in my final year of my college. I was very lucky to get a opportunity to serve as a training and placement coordinator in my college, which was a completely student-run body, where we actually were placing almost 1,500 plus candidates. We were responsible for their jobs. We were inviting around 250 companies out there. Once the kind of impact that I saw of this small office on the lives of these students, it was huge. I had seen people who entered into NIT Allahabad in the first year with a loan, with a study loan on their heads. And by the end of the fourth year, they were actually booking the tickets to US. They were booking tickets to the tier one metropolitan cities of the country. They were becoming the top 1% of the Indian population. And that is what it was, not just a job. It was actually a ticket to their future. And that is what stayed with me. And when I came back to my town, which is Mawana, which is 25 kilometers even farther than Meerut, then I saw there were not just these 1,500 candidates that I served there in NIT Allahabad. Rather, there are 1 crore, or you can say 10 million students who graduate every single year. And out of this, only 1 million are the ones who are actually graduating from these tier one colleges. So there are still 9 million to go, who are still struggling and who are trying to figure out what to do next. So that's what I saw. If this thing has so much power and I have this capability to actually level the ground field, then I should definitely do that. So that is what triggered the interest to start GetWork. I'm very passionate about education, about the jobs and careers. And it comes more of hereditary. So my Nanaji was a vice chancellor at Meerut University, Chaudhry Charan Singh University in Meerut. My dad is into education. We do have two CBSE schools, which my dad run, and he started in 1996. Then I started with GetWork. So this comes more of hereditary, where we are actually pushing this one ahead. And I knew that technology can really solve it. And that's what we have been able to do very magnificently at GetWork. So once I graduated, I got a job at EXL Analytics as a business analyst, where I worked for almost 1 year and 2 months. Then I started with GetWork. And as luck would have it, today we are a team of around 78 members. We are already at a $2 million annual recurring revenue. And we do have a lot of happy customers supporting us in this journey.
That's lovely, Rahul. Congratulations on that. And uh,
Thank you.
I'm really impressed to hear, the real stories behind titles. I mean, we often talk about innovation, leadership, and big concepts, but it's hearing from people like you who are actually in the trenches, driving that change, and the kind of, you people make these conversations more meaningful. Moving ahead, we have been talking about agentic AI. So, agentic AI, or, AI agents are rapidly transforming enterprise operations in industries like manufacturing, logistics, and, many more. So, don't be surprised if they completely dominate the recruiting industry in the next few years. Now, according to one report I was just reading across, I think among organizations that have adopted AI for HR purposes, talent acquisition is the top area for its use and application. So, this rapid adoption is a testament to the growing trust in AI's ability to play an important role in the entire recruitment process. So, why do you think is recruitment an ideal space for deploying agentic AI in today's era?
Right. So basically, the answer lies in the actual workflow. If you will see, right. So the actual workflow, how it really looks like, and I might be a bit critic in that phase, but I'll be very honest with you on how does it actually work in 90% of the companies. So basically, there is a team that sources the candidates from a platform, right? I'll not name those platforms, but they use those platforms to source these candidates. Now, the second part is they actually call these candidates to actually understand what is written on their resume. Either there are some parts of it which is missing, and then you will have to ask all those details, or you will verify whatever is written on the resume. And then this recruiter is actually making a decision moving forward, like whether to uh, move it ahead or to reject this candidate. And then the process keeps on continuing from first interview to second interview and third interview. If you see, like, the data drop in here is huge. So basically, once the candidate was lifted from this sourcing platform, there was no insight that was given back to this sourcing platform, right? Whatever a HR asks, say 10 questions like, okay, do you have a bike? Will you be able to relocate? Are you okay with, like, this time period or this time zone to work in? All this is being stored locally with the same HR. And then there is a series of HRs that are asking the same question, that are actually collecting the same information, and this is not taking us anywhere. So basically, it is one of those things which are going to get transformed in a huge way, because there is a lot of scope of improvement. And that is what GetWork is also aiming for, where what we are doing is very, very India centric. What the kind of product that we have developed in recruitment, there are thousands of problems to solve, right? There are some premium problems to solve as well, like diversity and inclusion, like the veterans in the job recruitments and all of that. But what we have tried to solve is that the problem of 90% of the companies that are out there. So what they want is, they want a good talent at a fast speed, and at not a it should not break their bank. And what GetWork is trying to do is, we have created sort of a funnel. So basically, whenever you get, say, I will just take for an example, you get 100,000 or 1 lakh resumes on one application, on one job description. All of these are going to instantly get scored with a resume versus job description. It will get a score. Now, people who are scoring above 70% are the only ones who are going to get an AI call. This AI call is going to be very much similar to how a human would call, understand what are the gaps that are missing in the resume, ask the relevant questions, and also verify whatever is written on the resume. Now, after this, the students who are the candidates who are scoring more than 60% on this AI call are the only ones who are going to get an AI powered interview. This is where the interviewer is going to get connected. Now, why we created this funnel is to fulfill the third requirement, which is not break the bank. What everybody tries to do is just create the solution in a silo, like somebody who's just creating an AI calling, somebody who's just creating an AI assessment. But here, the problem is, if I have 1 lakh candidates and I'm giving everybody that assessment, then definitely a person might be good, but he or she is not relevant for me, right? The person might be very, very good at some skills, but he is not able to join me within the next 15 days. So how GetWork is doing is, for resume, you only spend 20 paisa per resume. Then when you are calling, it is just 4 rupees per call. And then once you are taking the assessment, it is just 99 rupees per assessment. So basically, you are getting the best results out of it at a very minimal cost, and which is a funnel sort of a structure that we are having. So that's why I think, like, AI is actually putting a lot of value back into the system, because it has started tagging all those applications for your future usage, where the data was getting missed on each and every single step. Now it is not going to get missed. And I think, like, this is the future that we are in.
Definitely, Rahul. I think that was pretty insightful. And I think hiring isn't just a transactional a process anymore. I mean, it's deeply tied to company culture, goals, long-term strategy, even candidate experience. And that's where I think Agentic AI brings a shift, not just by automating the repetitive tasks, but actually thinking and acting on behalf of the recruiter in certain stages. Like you mentioned with your certain examples of how it can proactively and intelligently screen candidates who might be great fit but not necessarily check on every obvious box on a resume. So of course we are saving a lot of efforts in terms of operational efficiency, but I guess that's where the entire industry is shifting to. And there's a lot of things that come into picture, and they can actually shape someone's career and livelihood as well. Of course, I think with all of this comes balancing your fairness, empathy, and transparency as well, which we'll of course talk about it further when we move ahead in our conversation. But however, a lot of people think that, when we are putting AI into the picture, they feel that, okay, we are replacing recruiters, and, we are going to lose recruiters because machines will come into the picture. But I think with the help of an agentic AI, it is not replacing recruiters, but I believe that it's empowering them. When you're automating certain tasks, the teams, human recruiters gain more time to focus on high value work, more strategic hiring, or, fostering more human centered decision making. So you will screen more candidates, find and hire best fit talent faster. And of course, you then have more time to work on strategic objectives that serve the overall organization goals in terms of the HR context. So traditional recruitment tools help with automation, I feel, but with agentic AI coming into picture, it is, I think, fostering more strategic decision making. So having said that, how do you think we can balance AI autonomy with human oversight in hiring? How can we balance both these aspects?
So this is something that I live by, that you will never be able to take human out of human resource. They are definitely going to be there, and we are much more complicated than any AI that will ever be there. So humans have a different way of thinking. If you see hiring as a core, it's not about the best, it's about who is the right fit for me. It's the best for me, right? And this is how it actually works. So what AI starts and where it ends is actually, first of all, the repetitive tasks that the HR or the recruiter had to do. That is where, like, say for an example, if you got 10,000 resume, and even if you give 12 seconds to each resume, then it accounts to a huge sum. Then if you have to talk to, like, say 5,000 of them, and you are able to make only 60 calls a day or 50 calls a day, it will take you so many more days, right? Rather, what this AI is doing is, first of all, the data collection. The second is it is creating a memory for the recruiters, which was not, like, getting made in the, even if you put the best out of the CMS that are out there, even if you put the best of the platforms out there, because we as human beings lack that discipline to put actually all the information in a CRM or a CMS. But this AI is able to put all this information, do the tagging, and give you a longer memory. So if somebody said that, okay, right now I'm not looking out for a job, but yes, 2 months after it is going to be my appraisal, and then I'll be looking out. This is a very core input. This is a very good memory that is being saved with the AI. And the third part that it is doing is helping in decision making, where it is actually analyzing your behavior and understanding what do you like, which is very, very important. And this is exactly how recruiters work. So basically, it is a companion of a recruiter. How? If you have seen cursor.ai, if you have seen Copilot for the developers, it is exactly like that. The agentic AI, the Anjali, the digital recruiter that we have made, is essentially a companion to to a HR recruiter. Now, I will just briefly tell you how does the life of an HR recruiter who actually is using Anjali, how does it look like? So basically, you get a job description from a company, and say supposedly you are working in a staffing organization. You get a job description, a requirement from the client, and the mandate from them. You give this job description to Anjali. Anjali understands this job description, breaks it into what are the must haves, what are the good to haves, and what are the things that I have to really avoid. Out of this, it posts the jobs into our ecosystem, which is, as I told you earlier, which is 1500 plus colleges, universities, educational institutions, and our talent pool of 4 million candidates. Now, this has been posted. The candidates have started applying. Plus, it also starts a search within our data pool that is out there. And it sends a WhatsApp message automatically for these candidates because it knows what candidates are actually searching about. It has sent like, okay, if you are interested in this, which is very very specific, then apply for this job. Now the applications have started coming in. Anjali is rating each of the resume that are out there. So the recruiter had come in the early morning. This is the day one. It had come in, it just posted the job, it is being done, the resume, and then AI is also calling. Anjali is also calling all these candidates to get more information which has been missed. And now after that, now it has gotten you the top 15 profiles where you can invest the most of the time. So now the time that you were supposed to invest in the first, say, 500 applications, it has been reduced to just 15. And that is where you can have the quality conversations, because these guys are very good at resume. These are aligned with your job roles. These are okay with all your conditions that you have put, and they have the relevant skills to work for you. Then after that, like, you forward these to the level 1 to the level 2 of interviews, and then you get this. Say supposedly at level 2, all of them are getting rejected, and it's the day 5. Now, the AI, if it would not have been an agentic AI, then the person would have to go back to the day 1 and repost the job and restart the whole process. But the agentic AI is working tirelessly around the clock behind the scenes as well. Once it sees that the pipeline is dying at the end at level 1 and level 2, it again posts the job or refreshes the job or reach out to more candidates to fulfill that requirement. So by the day 5th or day 6th, a recruiter comes in. Now it has a new set of candidates to actually talk to. So every day he or she is just coming, he's getting a synopsis or an analysis of what he or she has to do. So there are to dos that are getting formed over here. So this is a companion, exactly like what Cursor is helping developers to do, what Copilot is helping developers to do. This is exactly what we are developing as an agentic AI for the HR recruiters to have it as a companion. And that's why we have also named it as a digital recruiter. So it's a digital recruiter that you have. It's more like a your digital persona or an avatar that you have online.
Definitely. I think you have just touched upon things that really brings us to the heart of where recruitment is heading. So I think it's not just about streamlining workflows anymore. It's about how we partner with intelligent systems to make judgments that can shape the future of a business or even, someone's career, I feel, because at the end of the day, hiring isn't just about ticking boxes or, matching keywords. It's about understanding the potential, adaptability, cultural fit, and all of those uniquely human factors that so far only people could truly sense. But I think with agentic AI, it can absolutely elevate that process, surfacing more patterns and possibilities that we humans couldn't even spot on our own. So I think it's more like a partner in a decision making journey, and definitely it's an exciting shift. And but it also calls for responsibility and clarity in how we design those systems and workflows, because of course all AI recruiting tools, including agentic AI, must adhere to strict compliance and fairness standards, because bias in AI is more than a possibility, it's a risk. Consider what happened with Amazon's experimental recruitment AI. Though it was designed to streamline hiring, the algorithm learned to prioritize male candidates for technical roles after training on historical resumes. So this is a stark reminder of how unchecked algorithms have the potential to, perpetuate the systematic biases. So we want to understand from you, Rahul, what steps are taken to keep the recruitment process more transparent and explainable when agentic AI agents are involved.
Right. So definitely we are very committed to this part. What I'll just again bring the same part of it. We are not in a business to choose out who is the best. Rather, we are in the business to choose for a company who is best for me. So that is why we are giving an explainable AI in all the parts where you actually are hitting our large language based model, which has been trained on around 5 million jobs, around 200,000 interview questions, and over 4 million candidates resume. So this is the whole data on which it has been trained, but it is not just limited to that. So for every company that is coming onto the platform, they can also modify, they can also ask the AI to actually put in some guidelines. So we call it a knowledge base. So this knowledge base is also, that is what we are giving to them, which they can put in. So supposedly, for an example, you are hiring an investment analyst and I am hiring an investment analyst. We got the same set of applications, but your preferences that I value, and this is not wrong, right? This is something that it is your learning that you have gotten it from, that you only hire from, say, tier one colleges, right? It's just a standard that your company follows, and which is I think totally right. And where my company might say that, okay, I focus only on skills, right? I do not care if the candidate is coming from any of the colleges. It is your learning. You are right on your part, I'm right on my part. So you can also customize your AI, your agent, to actually give the ranking of these candidates however you want it to be, and I can customize the same agent to give me the results or the ranking as per my company standards. So that is first part where we are saying that the bias is something that we are reducing. The second is we are giving an explainable AI. In every part of it where the resume is getting scored, we are clearly telling why is this resume scoring this much, how, what are the parameters that we have used, how we have used it. The third one where we are using is the human in the loop. So essentially, AI is not rejecting any candidate until and unless the HR is giving us a very clear instruction that, okay, I only want to go forward with these applications, right? So this is where, even if they see that, okay, there are some potentials which AI has missed, then they can also go to a lower percentage. Say supposedly AI was saying that only 60% and above candidates were good, but if you figure out that even 50% of the candidates, the ones that are scoring 50%, are good enough, you can go and choose them to move forward with, right? And honestly, if I have to be critique in that one, so you really need basic what I'd say is that the recruitment at this point of time as well, is not that much efficient. It is still broken, right? There are no particular records that are being kept. There are no particular percentages that are getting measured on, who got selected, who got rejected, and all of that. And what so far what we have seen, working with almost 150 odd companies who are using our AI products, that we have got massively better results than what they were getting earlier. So I'd say that this is how we are contributing for the AI to be non-biased, or say being putting the guardrails around it. So yeah.
Definitely, that's a really important point, especially considering how pivotal the hiring decisions can be, not just for the individual, definitely, but for the organization's culture and future. And that is where explainability plays a huge role. Not just as a technical requirement, but as a part of a broader employer brand, because organizations that can clearly articulate how their recruitment technology works and why certain profiles are shortlisted or not build far more trust, not just internally, but in the talent market as well. So, having said that, I think. As and when we see agentic AI advances into this particular field, we can expect improved reasoning capabilities to enhance the quality of interviews and have more specialized agents collaborate, ensure greater compliance and security measures to empower ethical hiring practices. So, one last question for you, Rahul. How do you see agentic AI taking recruitment in the next 3 to 5 years? Or what are certain trends do you think that will, come into the picture of agentic AI and that will probably shape the future of recruitment in the coming years?
Right. So I think, like, the future is very exciting with the agentic AI. What I believe is that every company will have at least 3 to 4 specific HR agents who will be working in the recruitment space, specialized in hiring into various roles, like one for technology, one for finance, one for HR, and for other roles as well. And these are going to be very, very powerful ones. What I feel is that the first round of interviews, where generally you today apply on a profile and you talk to this first HR recruiter, the first screening, this is all going to get done by the agentic AI. And companies are going to save billions of dollars by doing and by making this shift. Plus, what I think is the best part that is going to be there, that the companies will have a longer memory with the agentic AI and a wonderful, wonderful user experience that they'll be able to offer. Currently, and this is the harsh reality, once the space that we work in, we are into entry level hiring, 0 to 5 years, 0 to 6 years of hiring space, where in the first 0 to 3 years, the rejection ratio is as high as 65%. So basically, 65% of candidates do not get the job on that particular job description, right? So 100 students applied, only 35 got hired. The 65 will other definitely look out for another jobs and all. But this is the harsh reality. And nobody is doing anything about it. There is no user experience that is going there. With the help of agentic AI, you will not be able to only create the team, but you will also be able to create a followership, a community of people who really gave their time. So that is the second trend that I'll be that will be there for sure. So companies having the long-term memory. So say supposedly you applied for a job, you did not get selected, and you are applying after 9 months. But the AI will remember and it will greet you very gracefully. It will understand what has changed in your life in the last 9 months and then invite you to apply again. Right. So all these things are going to be there for sure. The third one that I see very, very important is that it is not just going to be the agentic AI only for the companies and for the recruiters, but very soon we will be seeing AI companion for the candidates as well. Someone who can actually be their 24 by 7 career guidance for the same. So that is something which I will keep for another podcast with you. We are also working on that. We are developing the technology which can actually scan all of your emails, tell you what are the jobs that you have applied for, basically gives you the card for the same, exactly like how Cred works. So basically, Cred you use to manage multiple payments across various credit cards. GetWork is developing a technology platform with the name of Rise with GetWork, which is going to be helping you to actually manage your job applications across all the platforms that you have, where we are using very deep technology about the email passing, and that is where you'll be able to do that. And the second, we are providing a AI career guidance to the candidate, who will be like a 24 by 7 companion, where you can actually tell how much you are frustrated with your boss, what is the kind of company that you're looking for. If you want to check very quickly what are people saying about the company, you'll be able to talk to this AI. If you want to ask what are the courses that I really need to do to get to say twice of my salary, you'll be able to do that. So definitely it's a very exciting time, and I'm very happy. GetWork is in the middle of it. We are actually walking the talk. GetWork as a company has grown three folds just in last month on the back of agentic AI. At March of 2024, we were at around 6 crores ARR, and we closed this year with around 16 crores ARR. So I think the futures is very exciting. I am very thankful to people who are backing us up, and we believe that GetWork will also be leading this race. So yeah.
That's pretty impressive, Rahul, and I'm really excited to learn more about the upcoming platform that you're working on. And I'm sure that it will create more strides in the entire recruitment landscape. So kudos to you. But I think eventually Agentic AI represents the next evolution in recruitment because it offers more scalability, fairness, and efficiency, while also maintaining the human touch that remains essential in hiring. And those who embrace working with AI agents early on will have an advantage in attracting and hiring in a world where top talent is increasingly hard to find. Well, thank you so much, Rahul, for taking out the time and effort to be on a podcast today and helping us understand that. I think organizations who can, maintain data quality and nurture human AI collaboration can position themselves for a more successful agentic AI implementation. And moreover, maintaining a balance between the autonomous operation and human oversight is necessary, and it requires more responsible and effective AI deployment, which will eventually drive genuine business value. So, thank you so much for your real world insights and deep insights. I'm sure our listeners would love everything about this episode, and it was lovely chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I just want to say to all the users, your next recruiter might be a digital recruiter. So please do not miss that call. Do not think it's just AI calling you.
Right.
It could be a big opportunity that you're missing. So thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast.
Thank you so much, Rahul. So, this is for our listeners. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And of course, I hope you noted down the point that Rahul mentioned in the end. Nevertheless, stay tuned for our upcoming podcast, and you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.